This video discusses why prominent Sikh businessman Ripudaman Singh Malik was shot dead in Canada. This message is also of great importance for all Punjabis and Sikhs worldwide, including the Punjab government led by Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann. Hello friends, this is Unmasked Truth with Harmanjit Saini, where I provide unique analysis of world events based on the unmasked truth that after surrender, Germany continued World War II clandestinely and became a killing machine. I also provide true news that you will find nowhere else. A prominent Sikh businessman of Canada, Ripudaman Singh Malik, was shot dead in Surrey, British Columbia on Thursday, July 14, 2022, outside his family business, Papillon Eastern Imports, a clothing company. He was 75. Malik was also president of the Khalsa Credit Union based in Vancouver, which has more than 16,000 members and $100 million in assets. He also served as chairman of Khalsa Schools, which have two campuses in Surrey and Vancouver. Malik was accused of murder and conspiracy in a pair of bombings in 1985 that killed 331 people. The alleged reason for the terrorist attack was retaliation for the government of India attacking and destroying part of the Golden Temple, the Sikhs' holiest shrine in Amritsar, India, to flush out terrorists who had taken shelter there. On June 23, 1985, a suitcase bomb exploded on Air India Flight 182. The aircraft crashed into the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Ireland, killing all 329 passengers and crew, most of whom were of Indian origin. Another bomb was supposed to have been planted in an Air India flight scheduled to take off from Tokyo, Japan, Narita Airport, but it exploded, killing two baggage handlers. Malik and another co-accused, Ajaib Singh Bagri, were arrested but were acquitted in 2005 after a lengthy trial. At one time, Malik was also associated with the Khalistan movement for a separate Sikh state in India. Here is the truth about Ripudaman Singh Malik and why he was shot dead. Malik was a Pathan, known as Pashtuns in Afghanistan. He was a Pathan Sikh and not a Punjabi Jat, Saini or of other Punjabi background. Pathan Sikhs are allied with the Germans and German masqueraders, who are people of German ancestry living in white countries, as all Pashtuns in Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and worldwide are, working against the interests of Punjabi Sikhs. German goal is to destroy Punjabi Sikhs because they fought them in both world wars as part of the British Indian Army. Because of their alliance with the Germans, that has also become the goal of Pathan Sikhs. As a financial reward, they are helped with their businesses globally by German masqueraders and in getting good jobs. Since Punjabi Sikhs don't know the true identity of these Pathan Sikh individuals, we think they are our own people and deal with them and their businesses freely. So they have been enjoying the benefits of support from all sides, never returning the same benefit and treatment to genuine Punjabis. That is why they have been successful in their business, but discriminate against Punjabi Sikhs and hurt their business and job opportunities as much as they can. Their goal is also to malign genuine Punjabi Sikhs and paint them as terrorists in the eyes of the world. The truth is that the terrorist act of bombing the Air India planes was actually the work of Ripudaman Singh Malik and his co-accused, though they were acquitted in a court trial. But German masqueraders in Canada, with their influence in the Canadian justice system, were able to get them acquitted of the atrocity, while Sikhs in general were branded as terrorists. I am letting the world know that Malik was the actual terrorist mastermind in the bombing of Air India aircraft. Though carrying out the act of terrorism was enough reason for shooting Malik dead, that could have waited for some more time, as he was not killed for decades in the past for it. The real reason he was shot dead at this time was that he was planning to assassinate me on the orders of his masters, the German masqueraders in the United States. Because of my views and exposing the global evils committed by the Germans and German masqueraders, they have been trying to assassinate me for quite some time. This was the third attempt in using Pathan Sikhs masquerading as Punjabi Sikhs to try and assassinate me. The first attempt was made about a year ago when a friend of mine from high school, Manjeet Singh Sambi, who lived in California, was persuaded to kill me. When he was in the process of planning to carry out the task, he was put to death. Subsequently, I have learned that Sambis was a Pathan Sikh. The second attempt was made in early March of this year. An engineering school friend from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, who was visiting the United States from India, was persuaded to get together with me with the objective of assassinating me. When I understood his purpose for getting together with me, I cancelled the get together. He went back to India. In my opinion, he narrowly escaped being put to death. I have learned that he too is a Pathan Sikh. Malik was ordered to make the third attempt by a Pathan masquerading as a Punjabi Sikh to kill me. He must have been in the early planning stages when he was shot dead. Now you know the real reason why Ripudaman Singh Malik was shot dead on July 14, 2022. He was planning to assassinate me. Certainly, this will not be the last attempt by a Pathan or a Rajput masquerading as a Punjabi Sikh to kill me. Let's see how it goes. I am not at all concerned. I trust in God Almighty and rely on US law enforcement for protection. Now I have a message for all Punjabis, particularly genuine Punjabi Sikhs, which excludes Pathans and Rajputs such as Siddhus masquerading as Punjabi Sikhs, and the Punjab government led by Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann. First, we must understand why we Punjabis must abide by the rule of law and criminals must be brought to justice. Criminals and murderers. Consider the case of the Badals. Prakash Singh Badal was promised by the treacherous Germans and their Indian allies, the Rajputs, Gujaratis, and Ambanis, that he would be made king of Punjab. For that, he must ensure that he can control Punjab by killing all those who oppose his rule if necessary. But their real goal was to use Badal to kill as many Punjabis as possible, particularly Sikhs, in attempts to control Punjab so that they could get revenge on Punjabis for killing Germans in the two world wars. In order to become king of Punjab, Prakash Singh Badal had thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of Sikhs and Punjabi youth murdered in fake encounters. I have voiced my opinion that the Badal should be brought to justice for the mass murders they have committed. Since I have voiced that opinion, the Badals have been conspiring with Sikhs in Canada and the United States to have me murdered. From their actions, you can see that it is in their nature to murder people without a cause who may have a different opinion from their own or may legitimately oppose them in any way. That's why it's absolutely essential that justice be done and murderers be put to death for their crimes. If they are not brought to justice, they will continue to use violence and bloodshed, murder their opponents with impunity when necessary to gain power, and stay in power with further bloodshed and violence. That's why all murderers must be brought to justice. That's the only way we can put an end to people using violence and bloodshed to gain power and stay in power. Remember, the relatives of their Punjabi and Sikh victims still live in Punjab. They want and deserve justice. That is why it is important to bring all the murderers to justice, including the Badals. Punjabis who live in Greater Punjab, which includes the states of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Delhi, Uttarakhand, and Uttar Pradesh, must understand that most of the Punjabis who have gone to the United States, Canada, and Britain were rewarded by German masqueraders for the Punjabis, Sikhs, or people of British ancestry they murdered in India. Most of you know this is a fact. Because I have voiced my opinion that all murderers must be put to death, almost all of them, which includes genuine Punjabis and Punjabi Sikhs, in Canada, United States, and Britain, are conspiring to kill me. They are no different than the Badals. They conspire to kill anyone who may merely voice an opinion on how justice should be done, which opinion would be go against them. Here is my warning and counsel to all Sikhs and Punjabis abroad. This is the judgment we will apply. I am going to quote a case from the Bible when certain leaders, meaning princes, among the children of Israel, rose up against the leadership of Moses and Aaron and challenged them. The account is given in the book of Numbers 16, beginning in verse 1. Now Korah the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, or 250 princes of the congregation, representatives of the congregation, men of renown. They gathered together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, You take too much upon yourselves, for all the congregation holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Why then do you exalt yourselves above the assembly of the Lord? So when Moses heard it, he fell on his face, and he spoke to Korah and all his company, saying, Tomorrow morning the Lord will show who is his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him. That one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near to him. Then here was God's judgment on the rebels, beginning with verse 23. So the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the congregation, saying, Get away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Then Moses rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, Depart now from the tents of these wicked men. Touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. So they got away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of their tents, with their wives, their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, By this you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own will. If these men die naturally like all men, or if they are visited by the common fate of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord creates a new thing, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the pit, then you will understand that these men have rejected the Lord. Now it came to pass, as he finished speaking all these words, that the ground split apart under them, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, and all the men with Korah, with all their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into the pit. The earth closed over them, and they perished from among the assembly. Then all Israel who were around them fled at their cry, and for they said, Lest the earth swallow us up also. And a fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. So God's judgment on all the ringleaders who conspired against Moses was that they be exterminated, man, woman, and child. Here is how I view the situation. All the Sikhs and Punjabis abroad look on me as someone who is acting as a self-appointed judge, passing judgment on what their punishment should be for the crimes they have committed. They want to put me in my place by conspiring to kill me. Here is my judgment on them based on the example I have cited. All Pathans and Rajputs masquerading around as Punjabis and Sikhs are the genuine Punjabis' enemies. Most of them have made it to North America and Britain by murdering either a person of British descent, but most likely a genuine Punjabi or Punjabi Sikh. Since they are our deadly enemies, they will be exterminated, man, woman, and child, whether living among us abroad or living in Punjab. Then there is the case of Pathans and Rajputs masquerading as Punjabis and Punjabi Sikhs who have married genuine Punjabi spouses. In such cases, if their children act and hold views like their masquerader parent uh, and are enemies of genuine Punjabis, they must be exterminated. However, if they have not joined the side of their Pathan or Rajput parent and are not allied themselves with German masqueraders and are not enemies of the Punjabis, we will not put them to death. Next, we have to deal with genuine Punjabis who have committed murder and have been rewarded by getting help to immigrate to North America or Britain or Canada. Other Punjabis and Sikhs have made it without committing murder because they have come as students or have been sponsored by their employers or relatives or have made it because of marriage. I am one such person. First, my advice to those who have made it legitimately without committing murder. The German masquerader side will threaten and pressure you to join their side if you want to be protected during the civil war that is sure to come in North America soon. Our judgment on all masqueraders and those who join the masquerader side is to be exterminated, man, woman, and child. Therefore, I would counsel you not to join their side. Moreover, when they promise you protection, they are lying. Lying and deception are in their blood. Their goal is to exterminate Punjabis, particularly Sikhs, but they will make false promises to you to neutralize you first, and that then you make yourself liable to be exterminated by the other side. Do not be deceived by them. If they win the civil war, they will still exterminate you. But if you join their side, then we will exterminate you. Next, my advice to genuine Punjabis who have made it to North America and Britain by being rewarded for murder. We will apply a different standard in judging them. The murderers will pay with their lives, but no one else in their families will be punished. The principle we will apply is given in the Bible in Deuteronomy 24, verse 16. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Thus, the fathers of the children who have committed murder and made it to North America and Britain will be put to death for their own crime. Their fathers, children, or other relatives will not be put to death. However, if the fathers, children, or other relatives who have not committed murder but are conspiring to murder the judge or voice an opinion, or those who put to death their relative who had committed the murder, then God's judgment against those who rebelled against the leadership of Moses and Aaron will be applied. All their family will be exterminated. That is how we intend to put an end to evil men who take the law into their own hands and are the ringleaders who want to murder the judges or those who carry out the sentence against them. My counsel to the children and relatives of murderers is to not compound the crime of your relative by yourselves committing crimes. Remember, justice must be served. Your relative is being brought to justice for his crime. You are being spared because you have committed no crime. But if you act to thwart justice and commit crimes or conspire, aid, and abet committing of crimes to seek revenge for the death of your relative who was killed for the murder he committed, you will be brought to justice by being put to death. Next is my warning to the Badals and other leaders still in India who have committed horrible crimes, including murder of hundreds and thousands. All of you will individually be brought to justice for your crimes, but your children and relatives will be spared. However, if you want to murder those who voice their opinion against you, or sit in judgment of you and execute you for your crimes, or conspire to commit murder, or incite people such as the relatives of Jarnail Singh Pindrawale, whom you used for your nefarious ends in the past, to engage in violence and murder, You will be judged according to God's judgment against those who rebelled against Moses and Aaron. We will exterminate you and your descendants. That's how we intend to put away evil out of Punjabis. Now here is some information I would like to give Punjabis for planning your future. America, Canada, Britain, Australia, and New Zealand are about to be engulfed in a civil war against German masqueraders and their allies. Our goal is to exterminate all of them because the two sides cannot live together in the same country. All the non-white peoples not allied with the German masqueraders will be asked to go back to their countries of origin. They will be able to carry their wealth with them to their countries of origin. Punjabis and Sikhs who have committed no crimes should plan their future in North India. This process may take some time depending on when the civil war is fought. But please don't commit any foolish act in the meantime, such as joining the masquerader side, committing a crime, or conspiring to murder someone like me perhaps for voicing his opinion. If you do so, you will pay for it with your life and will not return to Punjab. But if you do return to Punjab, we have a great plan to transform Punjab economically. I have shared that vision in my other videos. We plan to build an incredible economy which will rival China's. You should look forward to a great future. In the meantime, please don't commit any foolish acts under the influence of murderers like the Badals or be deceived by Pathan and Rajput Sikh masqueraders like Ripudaman Singh Malik or Siddhus. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please continue to watch my videos and read my articles on important world events, World War III watch, politics, international business, advice on health and medical problems, and much more for in-depth and insightful analysis. Please also subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook channels, Unmasked Truth with Harmanjit Saini, to view and get information on the latest videos. Some people do not have the time to go through the full length of videos. They find it more convenient to read the text of the video. Unfortunately, YouTube does not provide the capability to make the text of my videos available on YouTube. But fortunately, Facebook does provide that capability. So I make the text of my videos available on my Facebook channel, which you can easily copy.